I just wanted to share a quick little message. My friend Michelle K, the Fixer and Company on TikTok, posted a video the other day about A and B, always measure backwards. Earlier in that day, before she posted that message, I was talking to another friend of mine, and I was reflecting on my life and how far I've come and kind of where I'm at. And another part of my story, which was in 2017. I'll give you the quick story. It was 2017, and I was working for a company, and they sent me into a Category 5 hurricane known as Irma, and Hurricane Harvey had just hit Houston, and I didn't know there was a hurricane coming, so they sent me down there with 2 chihuahuas by myself in my car full of stuff, and then they didn't extend my hotel stay. It was like a whole mess. Anyway, I was reflecting on that moment in my life because I had to come back or go back because now I'm in Houston. I had to go back to Kansas City. And it was the first time that I had to really start over and rebuild from scratch. And I was reflecting on that moment because I had to take a $35,000 pay cut to go back home. And no one offered to let me come stay with them in my family. Not one person. And that gives you just some of my family dynamics. I know I talk about that a lot. My mom offered, but she had a 1-bedroom apartment. What was she going to do with me and 2 dogs? So I had to move in with a friend, a now very dear friend, who I had never met. I knew her niece. We had worked together in a restaurant, and so I literally talked to this woman for 20 minutes on the phone, and a week later I was driving back to Kansas City. No job, only my stuff, and I had to start from scratch. And as I said, $35,000 pay cut. It was a very humbling experience. It was a very scary experience. It was the first time I really didn't know what was going to happen. I knew that I couldn't work for a company that knowingly sent me into a hurricane and then left me kind of stranded. So I got back to Kansas City. Needless to say, I had a job within about a week and everything worked out fine, but I just had to trust. I had to go on complete faith, which brings me to my story in Houston. Some of you know, but most of you don't, that I came to Houston for a job in corporate America, getting back into corporate events. And what you don't know is that the CEO didn't want to hire me because he thought I was too fat to work for his company. And he's known for having the most beautiful women in the business. And he really didn't want me to come. But I came anyway because my intuition told me I needed to. Now, I say that, and I will happily share more of this with you later, but I came anyway, and I know that I exceeded his expectations, and I know that my weight has nothing to do with my skill set, but I just think it's important, as I'm reflecting, to talk about now how far I've come since I no longer work for that company. Basically, the minute I walked in the door to that company, I was on the way out. He didn't want me there. So I got Employee of the Month and a huge raise and fired 3 weeks later. I've never been fired in my life. It's been one of the best things that ever happened to me, and I am very grateful for that experience. In fact, when I drive by that office, I literally say thank you. And I forgive you because it has brought me to things that I couldn't even imagine. I do have a blog on, it's called medium.com under Northern Star Journey. And I actually have more details of the story in there. You're welcome to that website. Anyway, I just wanted to share with you in this moment how grateful that I am for actually both experiences that I just shared. And I want to point out that beauty has nothing to do with your size. And if that's something that you have struggled with, it doesn't matter what size you are. Body shaming is not right. It is not okay. And You never know what somebody's going through, whether they do have excess weight or whether they're way too skinny per society. You don't know what somebody's going through. So for you to judge somebody just based on the size of their hips, we all know is ridiculous. And it took me 40 years. I was in my 40s before I realized that beauty has nothing to do with my weight, or anyone's weight for that matter. Beauty is about who you are on the inside, the light that you shine, the love that you give, the kindness that you show. It has nothing to do. I shouldn't say I was 40. Okay, I was 40 before I realized it for myself. I don't judge people. I love all people. Weight's been a thing my whole life. And I know I've mentioned that a few times. But it doesn't define you. And I think the contrast of this whole thing is it defined me for most of my life. But now as I've gotten into my 40s, it does not define me. And I know my worth and I know my value. It has nothing to do with that. And today. And when you reflect back on your life and those moments that were humbling or those moments that you didn't know how you were going to get through, just reflect on the fact that you got through and where are you today? As Michelle K said, always measure backwards.